On this site, Bright Source Energy commenced construction of the Ivanpah Solar Electric Generating System. The transformational project serves as a cornerstone of California's and the nation's burgeoning clean energy economy.
California's first solar farm is being built in Mojave's high desert. Employing the latest technologies, this 2,600 megawatt plant will bring power to 500,000 families.
And what's important here is that this is the first major project in a new green economy.
The future is now, and it's being built with a project labor agreement. With its construction partner Bechtel, Bright Source Energy organized this project to utilize a project labor agreement.
Union workers are very prepared. They've got experience with energy projects. They've got the skills, they've got the commitment. That's why we support having organized labor come into this project.
The City of San Francisco just entered a historic public-private partnership with Lennar Urban to remake the Hunters Point neighborhood. The project labor agreement and community benefits agreement includes local hiring, a job training fund, low and moderate income housing, and the biggest park improvement project since Golden Gate Park was created.
The project is such that it requires the city and the community to participate in the decision making. And one of the things the community certainly was interested in is a package of benefits.
And so for us to do this right, we knew we had to start really at the ground floor with a very inclusive process. So that meant Bayview community leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, folks from the nonprofit community.
It's also essential, obviously, to get the appropriate labor personnel on the site at the appropriate times when we need them, and that's important.
I think in the dynamics that we live in, the political and economic realities are that partnerships between the business community and labor are becoming more important than ever.
When project owners embark on a large-scale project, they enter into numerous contracts. A project labor agreement is just another type of contract. A PLA is a comprehensive pre-hire agreement that provides the construction manager or general contractor with a mechanism for coordinating scheduling and work rules and for establishing clear lines of communication and accountability on the job. Across the state, elected officials and their facility staff agree project labor agreements are a great tool to budget and plan for their workforce needs.
Anytime you're going to enter into a large project that's using a lot of taxpayer money, you want to have confidence in the people that are building the project. Having a project labor agreement really gives you that confidence.
It helps us save money because you adhere to a designated budget amount up front and not get into all these contingency overruns. And that saves taxpayer money.
It's important to me that we have projects that are high quality, that are oftentimes under budget, that are on time, where taxpayer money from residents here in the city actually benefit the residents of this city.
When you're a public servant, you're dealing with taxpayer dollars, and you need to deliver a quality project that's going to be around for a long time. It's not just about how much you can save or not on a particular construction trade over a few months. We're looking at the long haul.
Project labor agreements have been used as successful business models for complex construction projects since the New Deal era of the 1930s, and the use of the model rapidly increased during World War II. PLAs have been instrumental in building scores of large-scale public and private sector projects across California and the nation. Project labor agreements are more than a management tool. They can also help a community to achieve other important goals.
This is an opportunity for us to provide our own little mini stimulus, making sure that all jobs that go towards construction are those from our local community versus outside the community.
One of the problems of a rural area, we had no local contractors with the bonding capacity. It was necessary to bring in contractors from outside of our county, which tends to have their own workforce.
Recently, we had a project lining 10 miles of highway, and there was no PLA in place on that project. And I guarantee you all that $10 million just went out of the valley. And yeah, the community benefited from that new roadway, but how about the jobs?
We want to make sure that people who are watching the construction go up are actually having jobs in that construction.
A lot of the workers that are working on these projects have children going to these schools, as it should be.
As well as the fact that they have apprenticeship standards that ensure that on our jobs, young people get an opportunity to learn, to grow, to develop.
The City of Los Angeles has used project labor agreements extensively.
LA is leading the country when it comes to project labor agreements. There are about 140 projects across the city, the airport, the Public Works Department, and in other city agencies.
At least a dozen projects, if not more, are covered by our policy. And these are all major multi-million-dollar projects. And we are seeing some tremendous results in terms of local hire, in terms of community members of all backgrounds joining into the apprenticeship programs.
We partner with those who are going to be involved in the project. We partner with our contractors. We wanted to make sure that we had a tool that would not be, if you will, business unfriendly or harsh to them. So all contractors, be it union or non-union, were able to bid on this project.
So by the time that the agency adopted the policy and then the City Council unanimously approved the policy, there was support from the Chamber of Commerce, there was support from the downtown businesses, as well as many, many construction contractors.
And we've gotten, I think, really good at making sure that the city's interests, the contractors' interests, labor's interests are all clearly identified and understood.
More people going into the construction industry that actually live in the city of Los Angeles. So it's a win-win-win all the way around.
School and community college districts are also using project labor agreements to advance their goals.
So for me, a project labor agreement is part of fulfilling our mission of job training and higher education and serving our community.
Well, what we've seen that has been very valued is the coordination and to be able to have local hires, to be able to see people who live in our communities work on our jobs, work on our projects.
The main goals of the PSA for me personally was quality, to ensure quality.
I'm happy that our projects have been coming in on time and on budget, under budget in many cases, and particularly the bids that we have, and we've been getting lots of contractors bidding on our projects.
We've been able to provide the community that to a certain degree never had access to a career path with a career path. We've been able to provide small contractors with an opportunity to compete on a very large-scale building program.
When you're dealing with construction, the worst thing you can have is delays. PLAs are designed to make sure that we have a good workforce in place that can deliver the projects on time.
I'm familiar with the execution of the work. Here we are with about 80% completion, and we have over 200 tradesmen working today. That availability was key to have that skilled craftsmen participate in our project, focus on the quality, focus on the timeliness of the execution, to ensure that a campus like this is done on time.
And then from a business management standpoint, it guarantees that work is completed on time and on budget, which means that we're able to put our new classrooms, our laboratories, our libraries to use for the tens of thousands of students that we serve as quickly as possible.
I think there's just no question that when you look at what we have here, what we've provided for the community, that you're getting grade A state-of-the-art facilities that will stand the test of time.
Project labor agreements set the work parameters for contractors, whether they're union or non-union. Having a PLA in place is key to ensuring compliance.
Well, it calls for a level playing field, whether you have union companies, contractors and subcontractors, or non-union. And you have both, they adhere to a common set of rules.
This is for everyone so that everyone can compete, and then based on the standards that we develop, those that compete the best are the ones that get the awards.
We don't say you have to be a union worker. It doesn't say you have to be a non-union worker. It just says that if you're going to do work within this jurisdiction, these are the terms and conditions.
We just didn't want anybody to be able to say that this was restricting competition in any way, because competition translates into better use of dollars.
Get comments that, well, you're going to chill the environment for bids. You won't get as many people bidding, you won't get competitive bids. And not only do we have a substantial number of contractors bidding, but the bids have come in lower than was anticipated.
Here's some advice from those who have been working with PLAs.
If you're going to embark on something this big, this massive, this important to your community, put a PLA in place.
I don't think project labor agreements and particular community benefit agreements can be cookie cutter. For them to work, they really have to be customized to the particulars of the project.
This was something that we developed for our people in our city and our contractors that is really working well for us. But your situation, your conditions, and your communities all can be taken into consideration as you're developing your policy and your program.
PLAs are a benefit to your communities, and especially rural communities that are struggling through this recession right now. PLAs ensures that your local people get the jobs. And that's really what it's all about, creating opportunities for local folks.
You want to make sure that your community is served right. I think a PLA is something definitely that every district ought to consider.
You really need to look at it as a tool for how you're going to build, a tool for economic development, a tool for workforce development.
It takes work, but I strongly advise people to look at the opportunity because it's a huge benefit to the people of your jurisdiction.
Well, I think if you want assurances of your project coming in on budget, coming in on time, and quality products, all three of those are dependent upon an efficient workforce. Contract language is very important, and I would encourage them to take a look at any PLA that comes their way.
You want to be able to have a level playing field. You want a quality project. You want to make sure it complies with all the state requirements, all the health and safety requirements.
You know, sometimes it's best to go with the obvious, go with what's working. And PLAs have been working for the county.
I would argue it's been very successful. And plus, our projects have been coming in on time and under budget. And as you go around and take a look at many of them, you will see the work looks great.
And so it really is the responsible thing to do. It's very respectful of the taxpayers' money and ultimately allows for you to have an incredible project like this that the public now can enjoy for years to come.